Today we're talking about MTV in the 80s and 90s.
Turn it on.
Leave it on. America, see the music you want to see.
I want my MTV.
Followed by the first music video, technically.
Video killed the radio star.
Headbangers Ball, that, when I was a kid, that was like a night of horror movies to me for some reason.
Darkness imprisoning me. All that I see, absolute horror. I cannot live, I cannot die.
Run DMC, their DJ had this whole like catalog of records, and one of them was like,
And the goddamn B-52s come on.
Four, three, two, one.
Cue music.
I want my MTV.
just a little bit. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to VCon. Let's Rewind, the nostalgia podcast no one asked for. Today we're talking about MTV in the 80s and 90s.
You could have been a VJ with that voice.
I know. I should have been. I would have been a man just like them, which we'll get into. They're in so much Strange. But before we get started, speaking of Strange, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that alert button. And if you want to send us money, we also like that too. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump into it. MTV.
Now we like the kind of money that jingles.
But we'd rather get the kind that folds.
That's a very good point. Grazie. So before I guess we'll start off with, like, where do you guys first remember hearing of or watching MTV?
Well, Shadwick makes a freaking like a 7-point cocktail, dude. Like,
Could you describe his ruckus? I'll tell you this, man. I don't know. I guess it was my mom or dad. I don't know who had MTV on, but this was back in the day when, you know, you had like 10 channels total plus your like 3 or 4 regular networks. Cable wasn't what it is now.
no, and so for those of you who remember, who might have been as old as we are, like, we remember before cable when it was just like 3 channels.
Yeah,
right?
dude. And
like
so like MTV, I remember it being on in the living room or whatever. And so this is, my mom loves this story, aka hates it. She goes and she gets her hair like bleached one time, and she comes home and she's like, she got it, you know, fixed or whatever.
Yes.
And she's like, "What do you think about my hair?" And I forgot, I was under the age of 10, and I was like, "You look like the lead singer from Whitesnake." Which apparently is the wrong answer.
That's not a good answer. What
Apparently,
do you mean?
no.
She wasn't flattered.
She was not. She loves it now. We always laugh about it now, man. But Leaf,
10 years later, you're like, will the real Teresa please stand up?
yeah, exactly, man. Leaf, what about you?
So, like most of y'all, like, I was surrounded by MTV almost since the get-go. I will not mention the video. There is, because we're going to talk about it later on. There is a specific video that was playing when I was a very, very young age, and as I mentioned before, I had an older sister.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Yeah,
bet you that clued it in.
Yeah, she was obviously interested in the content that MTV provided. So, you know, it was through her like sort of window that I began to sort of be enveloped by MTV, and after that, like, it just was always there.
Dude, always
in
on.
A lot of, yeah, always on, always around, and, you know, continually culturally innovated everything about, you know, just pretty much everything in media, and we can talk about that, you know, here and in later podcasts, because there's a lot of meat on this.
Yeah,
bone.
we'll be definitely coming back. Shadwick, what about you, man?
And I really don't remember. Like, same with me. We had 3, 9, and 12, and then, you know, we had Fox and
Right.
What was it? What was the 53?
It's UPN now, but it was like WFLI maybe.
Yeah, that's what it was.
It wasn't a
UHF station! A UHF station!
But, I don't know, man. Middle school, I guess.
Yes,
It had to have
and
been.
it's just when you got cable is what it was, I guess, man. That's just, I don't know, like going back and, you know, there's a book called I Want My MTV. There's also a documentary out there that's pretty good if you haven't watched it. I think it's on the YouTube on this channel that hopefully you're watching this on right now. But they did a deep dive. It's a good watch if you haven't watched it. The book, most like anything, the audiobook is way more in depth. I have so many stories about bands and their drug use during video shoots and budgets and shit that won't even make it on the podcast, but it's like they just go into super duper detail, so like kudos to them. But apparently the network or the music companies, once they started getting those video budgets, led them over to dude, that's what they were trying to tell these goddamn directors, because if I'm not mistaken, like the first couple of video budgets were like $5 and $10 grand, and the next thing you know, like Michael Jackson breaks the fucking bank and it goes forward. So anyway, today I am finishing off this Crown Royal that I have. And for those that have inquired, yes, the basement is no longer flooded, so we'll just wait till next time. So no fans blowing in the background.
What about her infield?
It's always flooded. Goddamn sprinkler irrigation systems. Leaf man, what do you got, dude?
Bro, today I am doing some Chestnut Street brown ale, dude, at Chattanooga. Chattanooga, Tennessee favorite.
That's pretty good, man.
Yeah, I like that one. It's fucking
a
good,
delicious
dude.
one, man.
Shadow, what about you? As you disrupted us earlier with your cocktail making.
Yeah,
Well, you know,
with your old fashioned.
I like you, work out of my basement, and we don't have AC down here, so I have to wait to put my ice in, right until the time we're starting.
Yeah.
So,
Understood.
The initial plan was I was going to do a comparison. I was going to do the Pepsi challenge, if you will, with a Knob Creek.
Oh, nice, nice.
And
larceny.
Benchmark, dude. I'm gonna pick some of that up. I've heard really good things about Benchmark,
Yeah, so,
and its price point.
I've
is
never
very
had
good.
that either.
what ended up happening, though, was the Knob Creek, theirs wasn't enough left. So I have a mixture.
Nice. Plus, you didn't have any bread.
Yeah.
Also, a shout out to our rewinder of the month, Rob. Last week for Rob, man. So
Shout out,
thanks.
Rob.
Yeah, thanks for all the support, Rob.
Dude.
Got your swag. As always, guys, you want to be a rewinder of the month, hit us up on social. Facebook, Instagram, Exchangeagram, TikTok, any of that, Spotify, all the things.
Hey, before we get too deep into the MTV, one more thing that I really miss about the 90s, there was none of this.
What the hell is that? And why do you have
Why do you have
dude?
that?
It was in the mailbox, man.
It was in the mailbox?
It was in the mailbox.
Was it
That's
your P.O.
weird, man.
box or is like...
Well, actually, I mean, before we get started, that's actually a perfect segue over into shit stuck in my head this week.
Okay, I have been made aware of the allegations. Is there anything you can say on your behalf?
I'm trans?
You just won HR.
And there it is.
Was that Stacey Abrams?
I guess, man. I don't know. You just won HR.
I don't think her tooth gap was big enough.
Yeah, that's true, man. So let's get over into the topic, man. MTV, and we're basically going to go through like the origins of MTV, some things we remember from the 80s, some shows, some videos in the early 90s, before. We'll probably stop around the Real World era, maybe go a little bit with some videos past that, but that's when MTV went south.
We'd really like to cover at least in this podcast a lot of what made music television. The idea about MTV is far different than what it became and what a lot of us were used to, right? You always hear people complain, and the meme is like, well, music television doesn't play any music any longer. It's like, well, yes, because none of you assholes would watch the music. Like, you wanted to see Beavis and Butthead
That's
in the
what
real
I mean.
world.
What did I say in the Discord today? We were talking. It's the Superman thing, right? Like when DC said we didn't kill Superman, you did.
But honestly, though, like it was sort of like the beginnings of MTV were much different than what it eventually became.
Oh, dude, listen to these guys.
Do we have MTV to blame for reality TV?
Yes, but they actually, as you find out in all research, nothing is original, period to end. They're all biting somebody. And so MTV bit some realistic doc that they saw, and then they had this idea to make cheap TV is what it was. It was like, hey, we can, because guess what? You don't have to pay writers in a union. You don't have to pay actors because they're not actors. So you save all this union money. Production costs are nothing because, you know, especially nowadays when you got digital cameras and shit, you're not even paying for film. Like, it didn't fucking matter. And like, everybody's mic'd up, so you've already done the hard work on the front end. You mic them up when they wake up, and
then they quickly realized that through the power of editing, much like on this podcast, you can make anybody look good or bad, depending
and so they
on
would
what
make,
you want.
And guess what? When these union strikes happen, guess what shows are still being made? All like the writer strikes and all that shit. All reality television still a go because there's no writers. So this was a necessity being the mother of invention because MTV was kind of on a slight downturn at that point, but I don't think they even knew what they had. But yeah, they essentially popularized it and started it. But yeah, hooray for reality television. Now you can go watch 1,000-Pound Sisters every fucking Sunday or whatever day it comes out.
But before that,
you know they're not getting up and going to church.
Oh,
hey, they've lost a lot of weight now. Okay, I'm invested in their journey now.
It's my truth.
Yeah, that's what it is. I'm emotionally invested in their journey. Anyway, Leaf, go ahead and kick us off with what would be boring ass facts for this.
All right, dude. The boring ass facts. We can start off. Everybody obviously knows what music television MTV.
Would you say maybe for those who are uninitiated?
Please, for the love of God.
Yeah, for the love of God. That is a tasty beverage. Sorry, I gotta get it in, man.
Dude, that was really good, dude. Really good. MTV.
That burnt my nose.
I bet it did. You got like 7 kinds of liquor in your glass.
And one little bitty ice ball.
Ice ball, yeah.
It's water. For flavor. So MTV, or music television, basically redefined how the world experienced music, right? Like it blended, obviously, the visuals with the audio for one of the first times. But like Chris said before, you know, there's nothing original under the sun, right?
And I'll tell you what sparked me listening to this. Leaf actually brought up the idea to actually do an episode on MTV's origins and stuff, and I was already listening to that audiobook. But what spawned me to listen to that audiobook is I'm going to shout him out probably every week, you know, whatever, my homeboy John T. He's big into like 60s, 70s music and stuff, and so, you know, YouTube at work, like we'll be working to have some music playing in the background, and there was all these music videos from like the Beatles and from Queen. And then like finally I just go, whoa, wait, this is from like the 60s and 70s. Like what the fuck? Like I thought MTV started music videos. Like what would be the purpose of making a music video back then? And then I started going through these conspiracy theories and I'm like, did my timelines like cross again? Did I get like off kilter? Did MTV come out in the 60s? In this timeline I'm currently in with the Berenstain Bears.
Horse shit. Everybody knows. Everybody knows it's the Berenstain.
But so I think it's in your notes, but just to get it out there, like you're talking about, videos were made back then because it was first off, it was a cheap way to promote your shit worldwide. So they would do like a lip sync kind of video where you're playing live. It's easy to send that to Europe because of Europe. I forgot what the show was called. They had a show over there.
The monkeys.
Yeah, we're getting to that though. So they did.
They're always monkeying around,
dude. I love them. Anyway, they would send them over to Europe. And then you would get played on these shows, you know, because like Ed Sullivan always had live performances, right? So this was your way of not flying your band and saving money because the music industry is obviously about money and fucking you over completely as much as possible. So,
to be clear, when I say the monkeys, I'm talking about the monkey from 9 Inch Nails, Closer.
Oh, dude, that one's creepy ass with the symbols.
He's always monkeying around.
No animals were harmed in the making of Tristan. It's just like,
nope, I can't. Not signing off on that one. No.
But as Chris said, the early 70s was sort of like the precursor before music television. The concept of music videos predates MTV, with promotional clips used by artists like the Beatles. If you ever seen A Hard Day's Night?
It's been a hard day's night. I should be sleeping like a log.
That's more or less what started it.
1964, exactly, right?
The shitty Beatles?
Dude, you want to hear something funny, though? So you do have the Beatles. You know, you had Bohemian Rhapsody. It was like 10 years later, which I was listening to the director from Bohemian Rhapsody, and he fucking hates that. What that thing, that shot where it's like four of them.
I'm just a cool boy. I need no sympathy.
You know, doing the harmonies.
Their heads are like floating.
He fucking hated that and said it was like this cheesy film effect that they had where it's like a mirror lens or something they use, and he was like it's so dumb, like people hated using it and they just used it out of necessity, I guess. And
it's the Krypton scene in
Superman the movies. 100%, man.
God,
so it's the same
guilty.
It's the same type filter. But speaking of Chadwick talking about the Monkees, which, by the way, I was a big fan when they were in syndication in the 80s, and I had their greatest hits and all that shit. Mike Naismith from the Monkees, I believe that's how you say his name, they came out in 66. So Hard Day's Night was 64.
So good for them. It wasn't popular back then.
Yeah, so Naismith also Naismith bit the fucking Beatles with the Monkees, obviously, because they were just making this a show. So he bit them there. Then he did his own like music video that was kind of like Hard Day's Night. So then he bit them again.
Hey, we're the monkeys, and people say we monkey around, but we're too busy singing.
And that parlayed into him being like, well, couldn't you just show like music videos like radio? So it would be like, you know, radio, but visual. And that he helped create like a show called Pop Clips that ended up being on Nickelodeon, and that's how it got started. But I was like, that motherfucker made a career out of just biting the Beatles and just made an assload of money.
And that's why Gibbs and the Mistake by the Lake like the Monkees more than the Beatles.
And that's why this podcast is literally coming for Joe Rogan. That's right. We're gonna make our bag, Joe.
Dude,
you can't stop us.
Can't stop us, man. So, but I thought that was so funny. I was like, that dude, like, just made a career off of that shit. He was just like, I mean, this is good. Let's do something like that. But then you go back and look through the history of entertainment, music, wrestling, sports. It's all
video
the same
games.
Shit. Yeah, it's all recycled shit. Like
it literally is.
We've literally never done anything original in life.
How is that possible, man? Like nobody's done anything original,
dude.
I mean, so MTV came to the media executive Bob Pittman out of the ether, out of his brilliant mind. No, just kidding. He literally stole ideas from the past. He was working at Warner Amex Satellite Entertainment Company, also known as WASEC. He began developing. He began developing the concept for a 24/7 music video channel.
So I think this is where they fucking were off. Like, as far as like not what you're saying, but like, they tried to make it radio, and they just didn't realize the logistical problems of everybody. There's countless fucking songs you can put on a radio station, right?
Right.
And they didn't really figure, because like part of the genius of this idea is, guess what? The videos are free, and there were no residuals for video music yet because we haven't crossed that bridge because they weren't. So you can play all this shit for free. The labels make the videos for you. They give you the songs, and you just play them on your station and you make ad revenue, unlike a radio station where you got to pay residuals every time you play a song, right? So this was actually, I don't know if they probably weren't that deep in it when they thought of it, but in hindsight, I'm like, it's a pretty slick way to like start a low-cost business. You don't really own anything, right? You're just But 24/7 is a fucking tall ask, bro.
Yeah.
And they even had it. I don't know in the contracts maybe that they would not pay for videos to be made.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, and they will.
And we'll get to it, but that was a pretty smooth workaround.
Oh, dude,
on that.
yeah, no. I mean, even these are sharp dudes, right? Like, I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to shit on anything that they did, obviously, because they're sharp dudes, but they're businessmen, right? That's where it's kind of fun to watch these documentaries, read these audiobooks, because MTV was punk rock, but it was also business, so it's not really punk rock. Like, you know, it's like there's there's a means to an end, and the end is money.
Yeah,
Yes.
they were Steve Madden.
Yeah. Steve
I mean,
Madden.
they were wearing a coat, but they had a T-shirt under it.
Yes,
Yeah.
they oozed coolness. All
Yeah,
right, man.
and some of the short-sightedness, you know, to y'all's point, it like comes back to bite them. Like here, when we talk about some of the music hosting shows that they had, and you know, we'll talk about that here soon. But moving forward, I mean, the media executive, like I said, Bob Pittman was just like, dude, like these guys, like Chris said, were businessmen, but they were also visionaries too. Like they thought big, right? Because like Chris said, that's a tall ask. Like you're talking about like television being all the time.
But remember, all the talk shows and shit were on the radio before. All, you know, presidential statements were on the radio before. All that shit had transitioned over to TV.
Yes.
So almost like the last part would be for music to transfer over to TV. So it's a tall ask for what it is, but it makes sense as far as progression goes
It is
in
the
society.
next logical step, but logistically, it's like, how do you make it happen?
And
But-
as a record exec, like if you have like, you know, forethought on that, you're like, if I've got an attractive artist, aka say Madonna back then, who's like oozing sexuality, what better way than to get her on? Now you've just sold out arenas and and gone
Not
a bazillion
only-
times platinum because she's crawling across a floor. Sign me up.
Yeah.
Pre Rodman, not post Rodman.
The Lincoln Tunnel. That's all I'll say about it.
Split like a cherry tree.
Dude, like, fucking, they're gonna have a Tesla tunnel straight to the airport through there.
A quick side note.
So Madonna and Carmen Electra are tunnel buddies?
Dude, yeah, they're fucking Eskimo sisters.
Stop.
Yes.
Just
Anyway.
please.
I didn't care about one of them, but one of them really hurts.
Wasik was a joint venture between Warner Communications and American Express, greenlighting this project. John Lack, a Warner executive, allegedly coined the phrase music television, and he also helps like push for its creation.
So here's one thing I wanted to talk about that though. So like the whole story goes that they're trying to get $25 million to fund this, right? And the reason it gets funded is there's a higher up whose daughter he told about this idea. And because his daughter says, yeah, that'll probably be the future of like television, he's like, we should give him the $25 million. And I was like, these are the people that are in charge, because his daughter's like, yeah, sure, that sounds great, Pops. And he's like, sweet, here's $25 million. Like,
Yeah.
where do I find that daughter?
Man, I really wish women
Fun Be Kind, Let's Rewind. God damn it.
somebody's daughter like gives some rich millionaires the
Man, are we
thumbs
gonna have to
up.
start catering to the female audience?
Yes.
No,
We need
I
more than one.
don't think it's possible.
You're right. Let's be real.
Not with this mug. Maybe with your face, but not with me and Leaf's mugs.
We're just like
fuck them.
every podcast, we're going to enlarge Shadwick's window like by 3%. And
We're
like
just going to be
Chris is
behind him
like,
on his shoulders
yeah.
in lucha
To the
libre
side.
masks.
Right. But it wasn't.
Just don't go below the waist.
Don't want to ruin the illusion.
Yeah, there's nothing there but trouble.
And, it wasn't until the summer of 1980 that a lot of this started to really come to fruition. The team there secured a small library of music videos, primarily from British labels like EMI, as U.S. artists were initially slow to produce videos.
Yeah, so they
People
tried
didn't
to they tried to reach out to U.S. labels, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Are you fucking high?"
The Brits were like already on top of it, right?
Right, because they
Yeah.
were using it they had a show over there that would
Yeah.
show them. So if you were in the top 20
I believe
of
it's
these
called
videos,
Top of the Pops.
Welcome to Top of the Pops. Some 19 million people every week tune in to see some of the top acts of 1981 on this show.
If you were number one, you got to go there and play live. So but you had to have like a video for them to pick. It's just again, in music and everything else, we do top 20, top 100, top whatever the fuck.
Yeah,
that's just what we always do.
So you mentioned earlier, like they tested this on Nickelodeon, right?
Right.
Excellent. Hi, I'm Jack Armstrong, and welcome back to Pop Clips. And boy, do we have a great show for you today.
This is a set of pop clips, set to be the first top 40-like audio-video television show. The recipe is simple. Add pictures to rock music, combine this with a disc jockey you can see, and the formula is a hit.
It tested really well, and they were like, hey, here, look at the data here. Because we all know that data never lies. So then they were like, yeah, the highest rated show on Nickelodeon. They're like, yeah, but there's like 3 people watching Nickelodeon, and this had a 5 rating. So 5 people watched it. Like
they were like, shut up, bitch. We're doing this.
She was like, but did he?
Yeah, exactly. So
by the fall of 1980, the last side note, MTV's iconic logo is designed by a company called Manhattan Design with the moon landing footage.
One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Because all that footage was like public domain.
Yeah, which I thought was great. And then I went back and pulled up the commercial, and I was like, I was going to have a little note in here. I'd be like, because it's public domain, see? And then have you put our logo on the MTV logo, but then I saw how intricate it was, and I was like, I'm not doing that. That's too much work for a 5-second joke. Look, we got to weigh it out. Now, if we get $25 million from an exec, maybe we'll start putting things like that in.
Some exec's daughter needs to fall in love with Chadwick right now and give us the damn money.
Every thumbnail for every episode is just going to be Chadwick's face.
Fall in love with me. Take pity on Leaf. Yeah. Whatever.
Please.
Yeah, Chris, he's here.
Yeah. He's here too. He's holding everything together.
Yeah.
It's always
you need a father figure? He's your guy.
I'm that guy. I'm a nice guy.
And as I always say,
every kid needs a father.
That was only for Chris. He's the only one that laughs at that every single time.
It's still funny.
August 1st, 1981, MTV launches. It at 12:01 a.m. EDT exactly, August 1st, 1981, MTV officially launches on cable systems in northern New Jersey.
Right, yeah.
Reaching about, but hold on, 2 million households. The first broadcast opens with John Lack's voiceover, "Ladies and gentlemen, rock and roll."
What I found out was they actually had to, whereas NASA footage is public domain, the one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind or whatever, that is copywritten. So they had to get permission to use that. So they reached out to him, and that was going to go right before, when he landed on the moon and the logo and shit. And they called him back the day before, and they were like, no. They're like, you can't use it.
We're going to hold on to that one.
Yeah, and so I think they ended up using it later on or something. But yeah, so they pulled the rug out from under them right there. It was supposed to be, instead of "Ladies and Gentlemen, Rock and Roll," I think it was supposed to be the one.
Like, no, we're going to wait for the live action Transformers movie for that.
Yeah, no shit.
Despite the audio, they still showed the montage of NASA's Apollo 11 launch and the astronaut planting the MTV flag. Like into the followed by the first music video technically ever aired, but the first one aired on MTV's program. The Buggles' "Video Killed the Radio Star."
So you talk about somebody that slipped, tripped, and fell into a fucking iconic role here, right?
Shit,
like no one's ever heard. I'm gonna be like, hey, name your top 5 favorite Buggles songs, and everybody's gonna be like, because I don't remember anything other than this.
I'm gonna be like, is it Freebird?
I'm gonna be like, the gay Teletubby things.
I don't remember, man. But yeah, so dude, they are part of history now because of that. Actually, I remember Presidents of the United States of America, the actual band. They covered this when they did a live show on MTV. I thought that was pretty I didn't get the nod back then what they were nodding to, but like they covered this song as kind of a nod to MTV's history or whatever. So in hindsight, I'm like, damn, that was awesome. As like a 16-year-old kid, I was like, I think I can play drums to this.
You were. I was there,
and I could.
But there was various
Mom, don't come in my room and I'm cleaning.
Clean my room.
There's various techno ska versions of this song. Chris is right. This is such an iconic moment in history that the people who fell in love with MTV for the music videos, for the music itself, right?
And they essentially lost feed right after this video because it's like a new startup cable channel. But luckily, where Leaf said it was available in 2 million homes, there was probably like 6 people fucking watching. Because, I mean, I don't even know how how the fuck do you launch a cable television channel back then? Because now, you'd have ads all over internet and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's not exactly like they had a budget to throw up fucking billboards. And I don't even know what your ad fucking campaign looks like.
I could stretch the shit out of $25 million. So
I mean, I could too. But I mean, back then, they had to buy cameras, and I like too that when they were hiring staff, they were like, "We need people that don't have any experience in television." I'm like, "Where's that goddamn gig now?" Please get me off shift,
dude, man.
My health is declining. Just give me a job.
My mental health, dude. Bro, our parents are full of lies. They're like, "You're never gonna make any money playing video games, you little shit."
Playing
music, hosting radio shows.
What do you think? Hanging out with your friends is gonna pay the bills?
Doing your little doodles?
Yeah. Shattuck's little damn doodles he does.
Dude, man, we've all been lied to, man. Anyways.
Why you draw skulls and stuff all the time?
Don't worry about it.
Dude, so that was it. Like, that was the moment when MTV came into fruition. And Chris is right. Like, it was hard to launch like a cable network, right? It was difficult. Yeah, they had $25 million, and that went further than it does today.
But like you got to buy all the equipment, all the satellites, all that stuff. Plus, like, Nickelodeon was a thing back there, and it took them a while to get their footing and get like actual programming towards kids and things like that.
You said Nickelodeon, footing, and kids.
I would say allegedly, but it's very much confirmed at this point.
This is obvious. But so Chris is right. It's like it's hard, and so and let's not forget, you're taking a gamble here. Like, we're all sitting here with the benefit of hindsight, saying, "Well, like obviously this is the next logical step." They didn't know that.
Well,
like, nobody.
How many execs were like, "This is a dumb fucking idea. This will never work."
Yes,
which I mean. There was I don't remember what the artist's name was that was on that documentary, but he said something pretty profound. He starts it and ends it on the doc, and he says, "I don't think anyone ever does true art for money." And then he's like, at the end, he's like, that's where the art gets compromised, is when you start trying to go for money. But he had a point, and he said maybe MTV was meant to go up and down in popularity instead of like a steady incline, because that's what every other entertainment industry does.
Yeah,
there's ebbs and flows, but MTV just kept trying to change to do the upward tick with the shows or whatever. And go look at music history, it goes up and down. It's not a straight grid, right? Well, and when he said that, I was like, fuck, like, yeah, dude, maybe what if they didn't hit the panic button? What if they just kept the video thing going? What if you know, who knows?
Exactly.
I think music in general right now is in the ebb.
yes.
Well, you could say I think culture in and of itself, if we can digress slightly, is in an ebb, because you could say the same thing about the genre of film and movies. Right? Like back in the 50s, like basically the 10 Commandments is credited for like rising like the movie, the idea of film and movies, because when TV came out, a lot of people were like movies are dead. Like, why would you ever go watch a film in a theater when you can watch it on TV? But then you had big productions like the 10 Commandments and a bunch of others that I can't remember right now because I've been drinking and I took an extra shot. I don't know why I did that. But the point of the matter is,
The Godfather.
It ebbs and flows just like like Chris said. And it's like, why would you have that experience when you could have it at home? And right now, I agree with you, Shadwick. Like, I feel like film right now is sort of in an ebb as well. And do we give up on?
Yeah.
And you will hear.
I mean,
so many people say movies are dead, like television is dead, music television is dead.
They said that shit. They said MTV was dead in the. They said MTV was dead in the 80s, like the late 80s, right? Like, and it only been,
film and music, it's not dead. It's oversaturated right now.
Correct.
It's oversaturated with absolute shit.
Thank you.
And what happens is the shit eventually, you alienate the customer base, the shit stops making money, everything settles out, and then it comes back. And that goes back to what I was talking about with MTV and the music, right? So it's like MTV kept trying to, they were so lucky because they grab, and we're going to go into these shows that were like specifically for certain genres of music, right? Because when MTV started, it was supposed to be a rock station, but they quickly realized like there's ebbs and flows in rock music. So no, we got to get the next big thing. We got to get the next big thing.
And,
we got to pull it on.
Who was pointing that out?
Fuck your couch.
Yeah, man, it was.
It Rick
James?
Rick James. Yeah,
Rick
dude.
James,
he was mad because his video with prostitutes all over the TV wasn't played in early MTV. So.
What?
Now
Why?
it was Super Freak, so it was pretty early on. So
because it wasn't rock,
right? And so like there was this whole thing, which we can go ahead and get into this because MTV launches, and then we'll start getting into whatever else. But when MTV launched, the whole thing after like 3 or 4 years into it was they're not playing black artists, and so in MTV's mind, they were a rock station, but also, which I've actually heard them in interviews say, they were afraid what the Midwest would say if they saw black people on their screen because we're in the 80s apparently, and people are fucking stupid. So they were actually worried it was going to hurt their business or whatever.
Which makes complete sense because if you look at it, like obviously it is like a racist sort of like ideal, but you have to think about it from a monetary position.
It's business. Like
it's business. You're and these people and these executives, their mindset was told them, listen, we need to figure out what people are going to watch, and we're not sure that people are going to watch black artists. MTV by 1981 expanded to major markets like New York City and Los Angeles, growing to 10 million households by the end of 1982. So they were doing good.
You have to take that into account too, right? Because it's still at a fragile state. This is still supposed to be a rock and roll network. This is still so it's at a fragile state in this early 82, 83.
You take into account what people are going to want to see, and then you have to also take into account what people don't want to see. I respect women. I respect them so much, I completely stay away from them.
In 1982, the I Want My MTV campaign launched, featuring stars like Mick Jagger, David Bowie.
Turn it on.
Leave it on. America, see the music you want to see.
I want my MTV. All right.
They launched to try to like convince other cable carriers to start accepting like MTV, because people forget like the cable TV is not this unified nationwide thing, right?
You can't put it up on YouTube and it's across the world now, right?
You have to appease the people who are legitimately.
There's several local channel cable companies, right, that you have to get in their markets. And what's great too is I forgot the guy's name. We'll probably get to his name later on. If not, I'm just terrible at doing research. But I'm terrible with names. This guy went to the Rolling Stones, to Mick Jagger, and he was like, "Can you say like I want my MTV?" Because the guy was like, "I know you're here for." Mick Jagger's like, "I know you're here for a reason."
Yeah.
And he was just like, "Okay, well, can you say like I want my MTV?" And he was just like, we'll record you. He brought the whole crew with him without even preempting it, just like guerrilla shit, right?
Yeah.
And he was just well, that sounds to me like a commercial. And he's like, well, it's not really a commercial. We're just trying to spread our brand. And he was just like, you typically get paid for commercials. And motherfucker pulled $1 out of his wallet, laid it on the table, and says, I'll pay you $1. And Mick Jagger was like, all right, man, I like your style. Let's fucking do this. And then
I like your style.
Yeah, and then with his giant lips, and then he just fucking did it. And once Mick Jagger did it, and they got David Bowie to do it, then everybody's going to be like, yeah, of course, I'll say I want my
Everybody's going to do it. And the Dire Straits are like,
Dire Straits, you can't convince me fucking otherwise. Dire Straits saw that shit with the Buggles. They're like, the fucking Buggles. The fucking Buggles. Like, we can do something to jump on this. Are you kidding me?
and then they said the F word in their most famous song.
They did. And they were okay with it because it was a story, apparently. But I thought that was a cool story with the Mick Jagger getting him to do it. And
Yeah.
But then, like, you know, you have the outrage, like you said, Rick James.
Yeah.
I guess in between coke-fueled binges and in between prostitutes and slapping Charlie Murphy.
I had to whip his ass.
Decided to go on TV and say, hey, they're not playing black artists, which, I mean, to be honest, there were like Earth, Wind and Fire and shit like that. I know that's kind of funk or whatever. I think those bands would have done it, but in MTV's defense too was also like a lot of black artists, they weren't paying them to make videos, right? So like, anyway, so comes along Mr. Michael Jackson, and probably the most iconic music video debuts on there as Billie Jean. Oh wait, just kidding. He wanted to make this production because Michael Jackson's a visionary, all whatever the fuck bullshit aside, fucking amazing musician, amazing visionary.
We need to do a podcast on Michael Jackson. And so
Michael Jackson is like, has these ideas. He's got, I forgot who the director and shit was. Chadwick. So he reaches out and he says, they want them to pay for the video, MTV to pay for the video. And Chadwick, you want to talk us through this fucking nice little walk around they did?
Yeah, basically, they're like, well, you know, we've had other people ask us to pay to produce videos, and we've always said no.
Because that's Pandora's box if you do that, right?
Yeah. So, no, we're not going to do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a documentary about the making of Thriller, and hidden inside the budget of that documentary was the budget to create Thriller.
So in the actual book, I Want My MTV, there was a slightly different version of that story. So what had happened was, I think it ended up being like $500,000 or some shit was like the total budget for that shoot.
Yeah.
Showtime bought it for a premiere. So they fronted the money. They're just trying to recoup it on the back end, right? They pay the $500,000 to make it. They do the documentary because they're like, we can at least sell it to a network. It was the thought from Michael Jackson and them. So they give Showtime the primary for that. So they pay $250,000. Then they go to MTV and be like, I mean, you can have it too. Plus, Showtime's only in X amount of households. So it basically is like a world premiere for you guys. And then MTV did that where they paid them for the documentary, the making of, with the video being hidden in there. But yeah, so they ended up going through Showtime and going through MTV to recoup the half. Because Michael Jackson was like, I'll just pay for it. And they were like, don't use your own money for this. Like, we got channels for this. Let's figure this out. But I thought, like Chadwick said in that story, that's a slick fucking way to be like, we bought a video, because that's, in my opinion, the most iconic music video, period.
And honestly, I thought that came a lot later than it did.
Because, yeah, me too.
Because, like I said, I didn't get, MTV cable until probably, sixth grade. How old are you in sixth grade?
Yeah, probably
12,
10,
13, something like that.
11, 12, yeah.
And I mean, that's still like a great video then.
For sure.
And so, like, I thought it was like fairly new.
And they even started airing the documentary in the 90s for us too, always around Halloween. They would always have that.
Yeah.
But I remember,
well, they got Vincent Price.
Yeah, dude, to do the voiceover for that. So like in the album itself, like when he did did Thriller, then they did this video the first time, like, because I was a big Michael Jackson fan when I was like 4 and 5, which Chadwick just do all the jokes you need to do later on. But I had the record for fucking Beat It. One of the coolest memories I have in my life is like you have the bass line, the do 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 do. So my dad's a bass player, so I have this fucking record of the single, and I go downstairs and Dad has his like equipment hooked up, like he was sound checking before he left. And then he was like, "You like Michael Jackson?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then my dad just fucking starts ripping out the bass line or whatever. And I was just like, "Holy shit." And he never came back home after that. No, I'm just kidding.
I thought you were going to say, your dad's like, "Do you like Michael Jackson?" Well, I've worked out a deal where you can hang out with him.
Yeah. So no, but anyway, that's probably why like Michael Jackson started, like just his music was like fond memories for me.
Started beating it.
Yeah.
It's just making me laugh because like you also had like the Michael Jackson like red like jacket
and all that shit. But so the first time I remember hearing Thriller was in Halloween. I was probably like 6 or 7. I remember there's like a haunted house we were going. I think it was at the Nature Center, which doesn't matter to anyone that doesn't live in Chattanooga. But like we went there and they were playing, you know, the Vincent Price Thriller. And I was like, I remember recognizing, oh shit, it's Michael Jackson. Except I was a kid and I was like, oh, fecal matter, it's Michael Jackson. And but I just remember that's my first memory of hearing the song itself. And then when I finally saw the video, I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like just the movie, the progression, the dance that has been imitated for fucking 40 something years now.
Even in Teen Wolf.
Yeah,
even shittily in Teen Wolf. And this actually is the video that introduced me to MTV because I'll never forget.
That's fucking awesome.
I was actually visiting one of my cousins on the reservation. And we were, shall we stifle your laugh? And we were there, and like I remember my sister and my cousin Beckapoo literally were watching this.
Come on.
What?
You gonna tell me to hold in my laughter and then say Bugaboo
That was
or whatever you just said?
That was her nickname, dude. You're a racist. You're a racist, Shattuck. Just come out here right now on the podcast.
That's as great as Leaf just straight goes to that. You laugh at it, obviously stupid nickname.
I have a black friend.
This is my introduction to MTV because I remember them watching the video. Like we watched it when we were there, and like it was newer-ish, right? Like it was brand new, and like so they were watching it, and they were like, I remember watching it thinking, and they actually told my brother and me, you might not be able to watch this. That's really crazy. It's really scary. It may be beyond.
But it was for back
7
then.
or 8.
Yeah.
It was. If you were 7 or 8 years old, like watching like Michael Jackson's Thriller could have scarred you. And I have no doubt. Comment if you've made it to this far on the podcast if you were scared because like I wasn't, but I know there were probably kids younger than me. Maybe
I'm sure
my brother
Puss
like,
Me would have been. I mean, I vaguely remember seeing. I would have been if it wasn't Michael Jackson because I was already so familiar with. Because I didn't have the Thriller album, but I definitely had Bad. That I listened to the absolute shit out of, which I believe came out like in 86, 85, somewhere in there. But so I was already familiar with him. For some reason that video didn't scare me. I just remember being in, that was probably one of the first documentaries I watched. Yeah. That was that docu-series. Because like I said, they would play it every Halloween. But I mean, they fucking, this video, because everything before this was like metal bands or whoever. It would just film you doing a live performance, maybe splice some titties in, and then like, let's move. Actually, at this point, I don't even think there was titties, but they were just like.
What was that? Was it Moonwalker that he did later on?
For Smooth Criminal,
it was like a. I thought that was like a movie.
It became after Thriller. He like a lot of his videos, and I think a lot of this you could attribute to Thriller. Like a lot of his music videos sort of became these epics
because people expected that out of him at that point.
Exactly.
And this was actually what kind of checked a box for me when I was listening to the audiobook and they're talking about this. They were doing a world premiere for Michael Jackson's video Thriller. Do you guys remember that shit? Where it was MTV exclusive world premiere video because there were, of course, it had to premiere on MTV. There were no other fucking music channels at that time in the 80s. But they made it feel big. They knew that like you got to make this an event. So when new artists so Madonna early on was like a big one. Like that was like if there's a Madonna video. Like everyone's gonna tune in and watch it, and I remember that in that audiobook they had this thing about Madonna, talking about her and her charisma. So she's talking to one of the record or the execs at MTV, and they said she like put her head down on the table and is like looking up at him, like talking to him, like flirty, and she just did that with everybody, and people would just fucking melt.
yeah, man, in that documentary, like it shows all these girls like in the 80s
dressed like Madonna,
dressed just like her. Like,
yeah, dude, it was a fucking.
They're
it
just
was
like
massive.
emulated.
Yep, she was massive. But before we go any further, I do want to shout out, because I know we will talk about VJs. I want to shout out the original VJs, and I want to shout out how and why they were cast. Because they actually cast this shit like it was the goddamn Breakfast Club. So they were like the J.J. Jackson. They basically were like, we need like a black guy.
Yeah,
that's like literally what they said. So they were like, hey, we gotta have a black guy on here. So they got J.J. Jackson, who was in the music industry, and by all accounts in that audiobook was one of the coolest fucking dudes in the world and partied non-fucking stop. And they were like, that dude, I can't remember if it was, I think it was him. He had
and this is not JJ like Dynamite.
No. This is he's a cool. If you see any old clips of him, he was before our time, but I think he's the one that had Preparation H in his dressing room for the bags under his eyes. So you'd go out and party all night. You know, your eyes are all puffy and shit. You throw that shit apparently on your eyes and it shrinks them up. And I was like, I gotta give me some Preparation H. The next one was they needed kind of a rocker bombshell, which was Nina Blackwood. Which, if you guys don't know her, she does a Sirius XM show. She's fucking fine. Martha Quinn was your girl next door. Alan Hunter was your boy next door, and then like kind of their heartthrob was Mark Goodman. So those were the 5, and they had no idea what they were auditioning for. They were like, "Hey, we're doing a VJ." Or, what the fuck's a VJ? Like, so they thought it was going to be.
Oh, you know,
it's right akin to the ZJ, which if you have to ask, you can't afford it, big man. So they were worried that like they were like, so are we just sitting there all night and all day? Because they were equating it to a DJ. So so we're going to be the ones actually playing the music, and we're going to be in the studio for 12-hour shifts. And that's how they thought it was early on. They're like, no, we're going to be we're going to be filming you. You introduce the videos, blah blah blah. But anyway, the original 5. So shout out all those people, and shout out the hemorrhoid cream check in case you're ever in a pinch.
Yeah, dude.
Some Visine in the eyes, a little hemorrhoid cream, and you're ready to fucking rock and roll on MTV, baby.
Right,
a couple of hand jobs.
And so to bring all that together, basically what you have is the proof of concept, right? Like Michael Jackson showed that there's an art, there is an ability to not only like make something that has never been made really before in this style, right? Like we've talked about before, there were certain. You know, the Beatles, the Queen had music videos, but there was another level to this.
Right?
They weren't accessible.
You couldn't watch them. Yeah.
Yes, Michael Jackson showed that there was more to this, and obviously people loved it.
Yeah,
and so they brought in all of the VJs, and so now we have the hosts, we have the music videos. American producers were on board with making this sort of art, and we're off to the races basically.
When did Downtown Julie Brown come on the scene?
It's just in a couple of years. So what happened is MTV, like you're talking 84 to 86. You start getting some boss videos in here. You know, you get I think the hair metal scene is starting to come to fruition.
All different genres are, and for those of us who are younger, remember the wars, right? You have like rap versus metal versus rock and roll versus alternative.
I got my Yo MTV, which we'll get to, but I got my Yo MTV Raps hat on.
Yeah, like you have all everybody remembers this before everything sort of melded into one kind of thing. Like all these genres are gaining popularity with different sections of the country, with different economic groups. Like everybody sort of like fell into their own different genre. So MTV tried to bring all of those to the forefront. They tried to appeal to all the audiences.
They appealed to what people wanted, right? Because as your business, you're going to appeal to people. So what they said with Thriller too, which I thought was crazy, is they would play Thriller, then the VJ would be like, "Hey," or they would have a text at the bottom that would be like, "Thriller's going to play again at 2:30 today," and so because people were like tuning in just for that video, and so it became radio. It's like you wait to hear your favorite song, and it's the same shit. Like you're like, okay, so now hey, call your friends. Hey man, Thriller's going to be on at like 2:30. That's insane to me that song and that video was like so groundbreaking and revolutionary that they were doing that shit because the ratings spiked so high every time it was on. And, it cost them, what, $250,000? Wink, wink, nod, nod. And they made God knows how much in advertising revenue. Can you imagine buying an advertising spot after Thriller just aired? You're like, bounce paper towels or brawny.
What blows my mind about the entire thing is that I realize, and this is a nostalgia podcast, so you have to think about it in that sort of ideal, right? That everything isn't instantly accessible. Like you have to wait for, and so like Chris said, Thriller's gonna play at 2:30 p.m. Like, if you haven't seen it, you run and you tell your boy, yo, Shadwick, Chris, have you seen Thriller? And you guys are like steel mill workers, you're doing whatever. And you're like, no, I haven't seen this. Why would I care? Yeah, shirts off, dude. Dude, like dripping sweat off your rippling chest.
Hot stuff coming through.
There's a Diet Coke we just drank 5 minutes ago on the side.
Yeah, right. And I'm like, yo, you
talking about a mortarboard? It's the hat, you idiot.
And you guys have to tune in to this moment in time, and like it's so unfathomable now when everything is like instantly reachable that you and people would
because dude, you could turn on MTV back then, and even when we were growing up too. You would turn it on and you would fingers crossed. Like by the time we were watching MTV, which we'll start to get to these shows, you would know what show to fucking watch what video you wanted to watch, right? Yeah. But back in the early days, you could be tuning in for Thriller and the fucking fish heads, roly-poly fish heads might come on. Because they just needed fucking videos, right? So, like, you don't know what you're going to get.
Goddamn B-52s.
If you haven't seen our previous episode on that, you need to. Shadwick has a beef with the B-52s because of Janet Jackson. But so you do have like, so 84 finally hits, I think.
I would have taken Ace of Base over the B-52s.
Oh, I would rather listen to Fran Drescher for 8 hours than listen to B-52s.
Hey, funny thing, we always leave the TV on for our dog.
Yeah.
Just so there's like noise, so he doesn't freak out any outside noises or whatever. And like Roku has like these like channels, I guess, that just play the same shows or whatever. And I when I was leaving this morning, I saw The Nanny was on there. I was like, I'm not going to do that to him. I'll come back and he'll just be like foaming at the mouth.
You come back, your couch is just destroyed. Everything's done.
Better than being like, Paris Hilton's dog from
the South Park episode. So in 84, I think they finally realized, like, okay, look, man, like, we got to have every radio show has a top 20 countdown.
This is it.
We got to start doing that. So they do start the top 20 video countdown every week. And this really starts the formatting of shows, because now that people realize, because I think Pat Benatar was saying, like, your video plays on MTV. You've been grinding for however long trying to be seen. Right. Your video plays on MTV. You can't go out in the streets 2 weeks later. Because everyone knows who the fuck you are now. And I think even Poison said, I think it was Bret Michaels, he said, like, we're playing low-end 500-seat venues. You get on MTV, next thing you know, you're playing fucking arenas. Like, right. The power of this was insane.
And that's, again, a nostalgia point that's not to be underrated. It's like you imagine you hear your favorite artist like on the radio. You have no idea what they look like. You have no face with the voice, right?
And REO Speedwagon was like, thank God. They heard it from a friend who heard
Steve
it from a
Perry
friend.
Was like, you know what? I'm glad this isn't isn't a thing.
Even before they went to video, like, people were always trying to put music to visuals. Like, did you guys ever go to like a laser show or or light shows or whatever?
Yeah,
like that was pretty cool. Like,
especially when you're just on a bunch of acid.
When in the 70s when we were just
we were dropping acid.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were swimmers and our parents, dad's just popping acid. But like you said, we have the top 20 countdown, which makes its debut and was around for fucking hour. What did that last? 15 to 14 years?
1984 was when it started. It was the MTV Top 20 Video Countdown.
Yeah.
The exact time and day unknown, according to artificial intelligence, which we have nowadays. The VJs,
You had
the
on
hosts,
this podcast.
Yeah, the VJ hosts included Adam Curry, Shadwick, Downtown Julie Brown.
There she is.
Man, her voice is like she's sexy too, but her voice was great. Like
Yeah, oh yeah, dude.
Yeah,
she was so
dude.
bubbly.
The British accent.
Yeah.
And she also, I think we'll get to it, but I think there was a fucking dance show that was on MTV or whatever, like MTV Dance or some shit. But like,
yeah,
she actually kind of sounds like my AI assistant. Come to think of it.
now, you may have designed that after that. But like, Leaf, you do have. I don't want to forget this because it is an important one. MTV Unplugged, I believe, which we'll try. We're not going to go super chronological, but that debuted. I didn't realize this in '89.
Oh, I didn't either.
It did. MTV Unplugged in 1989.
I would have said 92.
A lot of people don't know it was far older than what we remember because it didn't come into its prominence until a lot of sort of alternative
Nirvana,
grunge.
Right.
Yes, like started doing it and made it insanely popular. But yeah, it was
I'm getting excited now.
Well, one of the earliest, apparently, one of the earliest ones was like the Black Crowes did it. So it's crazy. It was all these artists that it wasn't what it became.
Were they playing songs from their album that had the hair coming out of the bathing suit?
Yeah,
I think obviously yes.
I'm sorry. I mean pubic hair.
I've never been a fan of the bush, to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't mind it.
The idea. You have to think about it this way. It's like the idea and the concept wasn't formulated, right? Like imagine us three have a band and they're like, "Hey, Be Kind, Let's Rewind, come and play a song." Like it's like, well, or a venue, and you show up with your instruments, and they're just like, "Well, we kind of wanted to like." You know what I mean? Like, be something different, and we're not going to... This is the concept.
So early on, I think it was actually bands that would fit the acoustic thing. I think what gave them the modern nod was there was a show... I was watching an interview with Eddie Vedder. There was a show where either their trailer was stolen...
Did he speak in anything other than vowels?
He did not. There was an EO in there, I believe. But there was or maybe the power was out or their amps went out. I can't remember. At this venue. And so they're just like, it was a smaller, probably 1,000-seat venue, 500-seat. They were like, fuck it. Like, let's just play acoustic and we'll sing. And they did that. And I don't remember who was there from MTV or how that got back to them. But then they started being like, oh, shit, like this may work for a lot of artists to do an unplugged thing. And then, obviously, to us, at least, the most iconic one was that Nirvana one, where it was just, like, so fucking good. Like, and it just worked so well.
I think Stone Temple Pilots had a good one, too.
Stone Temple Pilots did. Alice in Chains had a really good one, too. With their fucking harmonies and shit. But,
I was going to say STP to me was like probably the most iconic, even beyond.
Even Pearl Jam's was fucking great. But that's when that run started, was in the 90s, when they figured out the formula of like, take these heavier bands, let's basically it was like for you to exhibit your musical talents, right? Like
that's why the 90s was the best.
Agreed. Yo, MTV Raps. What's the haps?
Yo, dude. And so... Like all of these, so in the early 80s, a lot of these start to sort of take fruition. You had a Dial MTV show, which was the precursor to what a lot of people remember nowadays, the
Total
TRL,
Request Live, right?
Total Request Live. In fact, Carson Daly actually hosted MTV Top 20 Countdown multiple times. Yeah,
but Dial MTV, I want to say I was reading that Dial MTV, I want to say Jon Stewart maybe did a couple appearances on there. I know he had one. There was one show that I've never fucking heard of, and it basically, the concept of the show was you would write a skit, you would send it into MTV, Jon Stewart hosted this, and then they would act out like the skit or act out the premise. The people acting it out became the state.
Yes.
And I've never seen this show.
I've never seen it either.
But Jon Stewart, I think it was Jon Stewart or Colin Quinn was the one that hosted it or whatever. And I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, I've got to find footage of that.
Well, Colin Quinn was on Remote Control.
And he had another one, too. Like, they made a show for him that I don't remember what it was. But let's get to, like, the music, like, themed one. So, like, let's start off with...
Please.
Headbangers Ball. We all knew who was listening and watching that, which I watched it too. But I remember there was a certain type of person you went to school with that long hair, perhaps in a mullet.
Eyeliner, maybe.
Or perhaps
wristbands.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perhaps all of the above, and it was your next door neighbor named Scott, who was like your friend's older brother.
Mm-hmm.
Like Chris knows
I thought the
exactly.
same thing. Like,
it was Kevin.
Yeah,
Kevin was your guy.
Yeah, it was always the older brother.
Yep,
dude,
and it was
always.
And they were into some videos. But one I want to talk about though that I did watch on Headbangers Ball,
Brass Monkey.
Dude, the one I watched on Headbangers Ball that forever will fuck me up is that Metallica One video.
The One video.
Darkness imprisoning me. All that I see, absolute horror. I cannot live. I cannot die. Trapped in myself.
It's underrated too. You don't hear a lot of people talk about it.
You know what? I had never seen it until you suggested.
So I decided to trauma dump on you.
God damn, dude!
It will wreck
fucking
you.
Nightmare is what it is.
Wreck you. Yeah, it is. Yeah,
the premise of the video, and again, I think that they filmed this for Metallica, or maybe they cut it from a movie. I don't fucking know. Either way,
I wondered that too. I don't know. Was it like clips from a movie? Because it seemed like it.
It seems like do a deep dive.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
But so those are the kind of things on Headbangers Ball, like it was your heavy metal, and then like later on, it'd be your Pantera, where you're really getting into like your heavy shit. Where
right,
and there was. But what's great is MTV. It was always late at night. It's usually on the weekends, and this was your demographic where they're going to be up, they're going to be home, and they're going to be watching Headbangers Ball. Right. And then the complete antithesis of that was Club MTV.
You know what a dance show is. Now see what we do with it. Club MTV,
which oddly enough aired around the same time, and all it was like, was it Downtown Julie Brown? That's just fucking in a club with people shooting up people's shorts, like with a camera, and they're dancing.
Yeah.
They reused.
It was like early '90s Soul Train, right?
Yes, and it was like Dance Party USA, which was on the front of the first porno I ever watched. So there you go.
Thank you for that.
Everybody loves Raymond. That's just a good show.
It's just a good show.
Yeah. So what happens is you'll notice a lot of these MTV shows had reoccurring VJs. They started reusing Downtown Julie Brown, Adam Curry, because people got used to them. Like introducing
Ricky Rackman was like the dude for Headbangers Ball.
Yeah, for
that
Headbangers
I remember.
Ball,
yeah, but I think Adam Curry was before him.
Adam Curry, Ricky Rackman. You could see them both in their glorious '80s hair. It is insane.
Ricky Rackman made a return in wrestling because everything we cover is wrestling. He hosted like a Nitro party a couple times because they had a contest. So again, everything's wrestling, guys.
So the controversy, there's a lot of controversies with a lot of these like television shows. The Headbangers Ball actually was accused of a lot of MTV was accused for, the censorship, right? Like there was a lot of people saying that, there wasn't a lot of authenticity in what they did, and you could already start to see some manipulation, which plays into what will probably go into future podcasts here at BKLR about MTV, sort of the execs there manipulating the content.
You have to, because there's the balance, right? You have a network television show, because we're not really going to touch on the VMAs on this, like the Video Music Awards, which are so big. But what made the Video Music Awards were people like Eddie Murphy fucking hosting it and just going off script and saying fucked up shit that aired But the ratings were through the roof. Advertisers want to be a part of it because it's fucking Eddie Murphy, so it doesn't matter. So they always had this balance of, so you can let Madonna do all this crazy shit in her video because she's Madonna. Are you going to let some unknown artist do the same thing? Probably not, because the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And that's when MTV started getting accused of censorship because, yeah, there's certain, like, I don't know how many Metallica probably can get away with it. There's some other heavy metal bands that can get away with it. But,
you know, Madonna had some stuff that MTV wouldn't play. Like, I can't remember which video it was now, but it had, like, partial nipple or something. And they're like, nope, no nudity.
Well, the what was the book she did? She did the...
I remember the Truth or Dare.
Truth or Dare. So that was it. So there's Truth or Dare, and then there was some stuff attached to that they MTV censored, but it was on the packaging that this stuff couldn't be shown on MTV, and the VHS sold out the ass. So it's like, I wonder some of that stuff where it's like...
Yeah, was that, pre-negotiated, agreed upon?
Right, exactly. So that's because the bottom line is money, right? So like we're making fucking money. We're a business, and so we're making money here. So let's move on to after. Do you have any controversy for Club MTV, Leaf?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you got for that one?
Well, I just want to say real quick, Headbangers Ball, that when I was a kid, that was like a fucking night of horror movies to me for some reason.
I wasn't super into it either. Like later on, I think like past, like so much so that when Ricky Rackman showed up on WCW Nitro, I didn't know who the fuck he was because I didn't watch Headbangers Ball. Like
I still don't know who the fuck that is.
Yes.
But just like the content, the music.
God damn it, Shadwick.
I just it was just scary to me as a little kid.
Yeah.
Same here, because I mean we would have been like 10 in 1990. Yeah. So like, you know.
That's actually part of the controversy that I didn't even mention is the fact that there was a lot of people that complained about, and here's the thing that's going to really twist you, Shadwick. A lot of it was sort of curated, right? Like metal music in its infancy was very, very raw. You know, it was punk influenced. There was a lot of like sort of thrash metal. Like later on in the Headbangers Ball, people were like, this is just like soft ass hair metal, which a lot of people didn't like. They accused Ricky Rackman.
They were getting out of it, right?
Yeah,
so
they were trying to evolve with the times, but a lot of hardcore people were like, dude, Ricky Rackman's hold on, you'll love this, a poser. Right, like one of the first times, like I know that term was ever used.
I like that they were like, yeah, you need to play harder bands like Metallica, and then fast forward 10 years, and they're like, why are you playing this soft shit like Metallica?
Exactly. Yeah.
See, now I've always loved Metallica.
Me too, but I mean, you don't love that fucking video one. I'll tell you that much.
No. You know, we kind of skipped over that. I don't know if you want to go back or not, but
yeah, it's fine.
It's basically the song is about war. Mm-hmm. So the video is basically this guy that was injured in war, and he's laying in a hospital bed, iron lung maybe.
Yeah, I guess like he doesn't have any arms, he doesn't have any legs. He's got a bag over his face.
Yeah, and it's not even a bag. It's like a weird like.
Yeah, he looks like ugly. Like, he's probably because he's Ugly Bob from South Park. So he's say Ugly Bob.
He's Stoltz from Mask.
Yeah,
but
great for his career.
But you keep hear you hear the song playing, and then like when they're not singing, it's just like instrumental part. The guy is like
he's talking.
You hear his thoughts of like. I just wish they could hear me. I wish I could move something. You know, like I don't want to live like this. I wish you'd just kill me.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Like Jesus Christ. Like could you imagine if we were stuck in our own mind?
I'm fucking getting goosebumps like when you talk about it. Like it's fucking. It's one of those videos that like
it's a work of art.
And he's like starts like doing like Morse code like SOS and he's like saying kill me. Whoever came up with that, Jesus fucking Christ. Like
and Adam Sandler probably did it best in Wedding Singer, where it's like, somebody kill me, please.
Well, that's where you start to see music videos sort of transcend what anyone ever thought they could be. There were certain music videos, when we talk about this at the end of the podcast, like there were certain music videos that just sort of like, that were beyond the pale. right? And like, oh my God, it's
Okay,
like
so
just
apparently one is based on the 1971 film Johnny Got His Gun. So, or not based. That's what those clips are.
Okay.
Which I obviously never want to watch that fucking movie.
Never seen it.
Never
That
will.
sounds
Yeah,
awful.
it starts off with it. I guess it's like a grandfather talking to a grandson. Maybe he's like, I'd give my son for democracy or something like that.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. Anyway, that one is one of the ones where it's like, I'm surprised there weren't more people. I guess like a lot of people get triggered by like visual things. That one was more like cerebral, where it was just like, but anyway, so
that's what ended up happening. Like the videos, just they got like more intelligent. They got more narrative.
Right.
So they were like telling stories. You're picking up. You've got a little bit of dialogue. In between. The verses or whatever, and. They got like really smart and really cerebral, like you said.
Let's not like forget that these are artists, right? Music is an art, right? So these are creative fucking people. So now they have another outlet to be creative, not to mention combined with other creative directors, creative people that make
and how many like great movie directors start off doing music videos.
Dude, absolutely. Like John Landis, like was one of them. Yeah.
David Fincher, I think.
Yeah, dude. It's like I started going down the list and I was like, holy shit, these guys were directing these videos and then go on to do great fucking things. So I know we derailed this entire thing, but that's worth it.
We haven't. We haven't, because the honest truth is that this is where music videos in this time period, you can start to see why people were so obsessed with these shows. That's why it's so important to talk about. 120 minutes.
It was a small fucking story, and everyone we didn't touch on 120 minutes that much because the one I know was Matt Penfield, and that was basically like all alternative music at that point. And so like that, you knew you were watching 120 minutes. You're gonna get alternative. You're not gonna get your fucking bubblegum shit, right? You're gonna get stuff that I probably dig a little bit, but sometimes would be a little bit almost outside my range. Like it would.
I got a question. Maybe this is a dirty word, but was VH1? Was it a subsidiary of MTV?
Are you ready? Are you ready to be mad?
Okay, go ahead.
So VH1 was created because Ted Turner created CMT or CMC, the country music channel. So, or I forgot what it was called. Anyway, so Ted Turner was getting into the music thing. And so MTV said, we're not going to basically acknowledge our competition. We'll launch another brand to compete with them, so that keeps us up on this level and it doesn't take us down a level. So VH1 was created to take L's. And it ended up being like, I ended up making money. Like it ended up growing just like MTV did. But that was the whole premise behind VH1 was we'll put our softer shit on this.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it was. It was the softer stuff.
And we'll have them compete with them for advertising space. We'll counter program them. That way we don't have to touch our fucking giant. And that was the whole reason VH1 was created.
Do y'all remember the back button on your remote?
The previous channel? Yes.
Yeah, dude. You're back and forth between MTV and VH1. Like who's playing the video I want right now?
Yep, 100%.
And then you get stuck on Lisa Loeb, and you're like, damn, this shit's actually fire, dude. Why am I crying right now?
You're like, you know what? I should stay. So let's jump to this one because this one is near and dear to my suburban heart. Yo, MTV Raps. Yo. I guess somebody was pushing because the rap revolution is happening in New York. I think Run DMC was the first 3 rap videos played on MTV. And they're all rock type songs or whatever because they always kind of incorporated rock.
Aerosmith, right?
This before that, they had
a good way to demonstrate all the super death rhymes that I create.
Because Run DMC, this is back in your sampling days before Biz Markie got sued, which we talked about before this episode even aired. So there was, you could sample people's shit and it was fine. There was no laws against that, right? So when Run DMC...
And the Beastie Boys were like, Paul's Boutique.
Yeah, and so Run DMC, their DJ had this whole fucking like catalog of records, and one of them was like Toys in the Attic is what they called it. which was the Aerosmith album, and they'd be like, "Oh, yo, pull out Toys in the Attic," like track 4, because it was like, you know, and there's like, and so like they played that, and that's so Rick Rubin suggested we should redo this. And so Run DMC took that shit home because they'd never heard the fucking song. They'd only heard like that loop because, you know, you play that guitar and then you reverse it. it. So they'd never really heard the whole fucking song. And they're listening to it. They're like, what the fuck is this dude talking about? Like backseat lover and the whatever the fuck, you know? And so they were just like, dude, this is dumb. Like, I don't want to do this. And so like the exec or whatever kept calling. And he was like, fucking do the song. They flew Steven Tyler down, and the guitarist, what's his name? Perry. So they flew him down and in the studio to do this. And they were like, okay, like we'll do this. And that fucking song, like in the video, you see him like breaking walls and shit down.
I know, I love that.
And so basically that's what it was, right? So it was like the forefront of rap music on MTV, but that fucking video, that song, it just fucking works. I have always, I don't know if this started it, I have always had an affinity between rock and rap. Like when you put an electric guitar to rap music, like Ludacris and Sum 41 did a tour together. You had Linkin Park and Jay-Z did some shit. Like I wish more people would be into that because that shit is fucking on. Like I love that.
You guys did that quite a bit with Matt Stevens' project, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. We played a lot of. We added because I mean I was like I love this. Like add electric guitar to a fucking Kanye song or to a Dr. Dre song or whatever.
Even later on, you had like the Family Values tour with like Korn and Ice Cube and a lot of the NWA.
You could even do like that. The auto tune. California for Tupac.
California Love.
You could do that with an electric guitar.
Oh yeah, no, there's so that's what I mean. Like it's just there's so much stuff where it's like it's all notes, right? I just love electric guitar and rap, and so when Run DMC did that kind of kicked the door down. But then that led to these execs or these dudes that worked at MTV kept harassing these execs, being like, "Rap is exploding. We've already played Run DMC. Like let's do a show called Yo MTV Raps." And when did that one debut, Leaf?
That one,
1988.
1988.
And so, like, it was the perfect hosts, Ed Lover and Dr. Dre, not the Dr. Dre, as I was very confused whenever I heard.
I was too.
Not the same.
Whenever the Chronic dropped, and I was like, "Damn, this is awesome! I didn't know that fat dude was this hard." Like, talking about sticking his dick down someone's throat. Like,
there was more than one.
So I was very late to the scene on the rap stuff. Like, probably like 96, 97.
Yeah, I loved it, and I was fucking MC Hammer and shit like that. But that's what was available. People don't want to admit this.
But see, I didn't really see that as rap.
It was, but I mean, like people don't want to admit this, and I'll probably maybe catch flack for this. Like compared to what happened to rap, Run DMC was bubblegum rap. It really was. It was popular. It appealed to the masses. They're fantastic, fucking phenomenal. But by comparison to Run DMC, to Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg in the 90s, like that's
I would
Vanilla
say like,
Ice shit, right?
I would say like R&B was probably like my bridge, like
to rap.
Yeah, I mean,
well, you had rappers in R&B and shit too. Like you know, it's a good little introduction.
I mean, a lot of the female artists like Toni Braxton, In Vogue, TLC even.
Yeah.
I just remember like on Yo MTV Raps, again, I bought the hat when it fucking came out. New Era, sponsor our podcast because I've given you so much goddamn money.
Dude, me too. They're behind my monitor, but I just have New Era's like lined up.
Same here. My collection. But it's like Yo MTV Raps, it was Ed Lover and Dr. Dre were so fucking likable that it was a great introduction to rap for a lot of people because it just was these two funny dudes. They would always do crazy shit.
Fab Five Freddy was there too.
Yes, he was the OG host, but I didn't get into it until it was Dr. Dre and Ed Lover. But Fab Five Freddy would always do the interviews. I think so he'd go interview these artists and shit. And this was my complete exposure to rap. And then I was just like, I don't know what it is about this this sound, this culture. I just fucking loved it. Like, it just, I mean, a white kid from the suburbs liking rap. Go figure. I would just.
What'll appeal to you because it was like this is the thing about MTV that like a lot of people don't understand. It introduced all different types of music to people who had never heard it before. People like you were just like out in the suburbs. It's like, yeah, you were in the suburbs, but suddenly you're like you heard a music style you never heard before. And when would you ever? Never in the rest of your life.
Same thing, but that's the same thing with Nirvana. That's the same thing with Pearl Jam. That's the same thing. It's not like just a specific style. It's everything. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because like as we segue from, Yo MTV Raps, you have like Alt Nation.
Yeah.
And that's
Nation.
that's a big one. Like I'll kind of glaze over Beach MTV just because that was basically spring break. It's 24/7.
So I got to throw something in here though. I just found this out like 2 days ago. Apparently my wife was she never saw the episode, but they were filming when she was playing
spring break.
Yeah, she was playing paintball.
Oh shit!
No way.
And I don't know if that was Panama City Beach or Cancun.
They did it a lot of times in Panama City.
Yeah, I remember that was like I remember spring break. Like you'd be watching it and you're just like, "Fuck, I wish I was there."
The only reason, dude, the only reason I had
she's all that.
Yeah.
The only reason I had Beach on MTV on the list is because of sex appeal. It also had some controversy because there was like a lot of parents considered that to be sort of there was like actually a parents union, the PTC.
Yeah, you know who fucking started that? Old fucking Tipper Gore started that. Old fucking Al Gore. So he giveth with the internet and then he taketh away with Tipper Gore.
The Parents Television Council, the PTC, criticized MTV for the show's sexually explicit and profane content.
This summer, we're turning this nice, quiet beach house into MTV Central. All your favorite shows. Half the clothes. Don't worry, you've got an open invite to crash at our place.
No. Do you want me to tell you how that shit started? Because that's in the audiobook. Let me tell you how that shit started. And you want to talk about absurd nonsense, fucking nonsense bullshit. I'm so mad about that shit.
Psychobabble bullshit.
Psychobabble bullshit.
Fucking psychobabble bullshit asshole!
Tipper Gore and their daughter are watching a goddamn Tom Petty video. And I can't remember which one it is. Maybe it's Don't Come Around Here No More. I can't remember. It's the one where they cut up a cake in the end, where it's like the girl is the cake or whatever, and they cut it up. And the fucking daughter is freaking out, and that caused Tipper Gore to be like, well, I'm not doing anything, so I guess I'll just go start this coalition, and this will be my cause. And that's literally what started that shit, which reminded me too, Leaf, and you know this, that fucking video game bullshit that happened fucking 10 years later or 6 years later, where they're like, oh, we gotta like start rating video games because this is why people are blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, man.
It is still going on to this very day right now. Those of you who play video games understand there's a group called Collective Shout, and it's nothing but a bunch of fucking white Karen moms. just like this age.
Just like the video game one.
And just like in when we had Michael Uslan on, and he was talking about in the 60s.
The comic book code.
Who was the same? It was the same. It's always the same group of people, and they're trying to censor like video games and get them defunded, and it's the same shit.
The only time I agree with that is in Footloose because I hate to dance.
Shadow says, I still got the coordination, so just
but I really like to watch it, especially when it's on the beach.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, like that's just
was Beach MTV not Club MTV? It was just in bathing suits.
100%. 100%. They were like, how do we justify showing more skin?
The only difference between Beach MTV and Club MTV was the only difference between them two is that Club MTV happened during the Milli Vanilli lip sync controversy.
That's right. Yep.
That was actually during Club MTV, dude.
I want to ask you guys, because we were going down the road the other day, and a Milli Vanilli song came on like Spotify playlist, and it sounded like absolute dog shit. So did they re-release those songs with the actual singers?
There may have at some point, but I don't.
I mean, we're like, how was this ever popular? This was terrible.
I heard that they did versions of the songs to prove that and I wasn't aware that they were ever released.
I heard those versions and they weren't bad. Like, they sounded the same to me because you have studio production and shit, right? Let's go. We'll go to this last one that kind of fucking almost put an end to MTV, and then the one that actually put an end to MTV, in my opinion. Total Request Live. It was so popular, but it was so. Yeah, go ahead.
Host Carson Daly. It was a precursor to. It was Total Request, is what it was called in 1998, and then it was a precursor to Total Request Live, featuring viewer requested music, much like we talked about the MTV Top 20 video.
This was
countdown.
So this is when they finally you're merging all genres together, and this is just what people want to hear. And so there was a cultural shift at this point where it was like it went to a bunch of people were into rap music, a bunch of people were into boy band music, a bunch of people were into alt music. You know,
thanks to MTV,
right? Exactly.
They fostered this entire culture.
But before we get into they did foster this entire culture, but before we get into, I want to end this episode with us kind of going through a list of videos that we enjoyed and were memorable to us and things. I got a top 100 I sent you guys. Yeah. We already talked about what happened with it, but in 1992, the fucking Real World debuts. And after the Real World debuts, we've already seen in the 80s where they started trying different shows. Right. Where they're because they're we can't just play videos because the ratings were going down, which talks about what I was talking about earlier that maybe they're supposed to.
There's an ebb and a flow to culture.
But when you have stockholders, that's not an acceptable answer, right?
Correct.
So
it's not an option.
You got to keep trying to go up and change the game. So MTV's Real World happens. It's cheap. It's easy to produce.
It's immune to
all the union rules. You can never. So they strike gold on this. They think it goes into road rules, and then the Real World versus road rules, and then whatever fucking also on top of this, though, you start having MTV rolling out shows, which we'll get into in later episodes because we want to do a deep dive on all the MTV cartoons or all the MTV. But you have Beavis and Butthead. You can't overlook. You have
Aeon Flux,
Liquid Television. You have MTV's Singled Out. MTV's The State. You had Remote Control earlier.
You had some Ren and Stimpy, which were more adult oriented.
Was that? I thought that was.
They moved them to MTV. They moved them to MTV after they figured out what the fuck was going on.
What's easy, man?
They're like, you belong on MTV.
We kind of glazed over Alternative Nation, which that's really probably where I settled more than anything.
Well, that's where you got introduced to grunge music, right? That's where you got your Nirvana, your STP, your fucking Pearl Jam, Soundgarden.
And so Soundgarden, I didn't catch on to them until later on, and I think it was because of MTV. Because
always the first, where else?
Well, so the first video that they made was not accepted by MTV. It was the Jesus Christ pose. So they're like, no,
not gonna
we
work
can't do
anymore.
that. Yeah. So Pearl Jam and Nirvana, they were front and center, and Pearl Jam was kind of sucking hind tit because they didn't get their first video out.
Yeah.
And
well, Pearl Jam actually after Jeremy, if we just want to kind of we'll segue over to videos.
What a fucking video!
We'll just start with Jeremy, right?
Yeah.
Let's start with Jeremy on our favorite videos because I think this is on probably all of our lists. So the Jeremy video originally, and I thought about this when I was listening to that audiobook and they were talking about what originally was supposed to happen is you see him pull the gun out, you see him put it to his head and pull the trigger. In the actual video, you actually, for some of the cuts, I believe on early MTV, there was no gun. you see him essentially do this where it looks like he's holding something heavy.
Yes.
Yeah.
We watched this a couple nights ago, and I said the same thing. I was like, I don't remember ever seeing a gun. I remember the classroom, all the kids like this, and they've all got like blood splattered on them.
So
they insinuated the whole thing.
I thought that he shot up the classroom,
and that's what Pearl Jam was mad about. So the original video, you see him pull the gun out, put it to his temple, and then
the one we watched the other night, he put it in his mouth.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, not to his temple, in his mouth. So so he puts it in his mouth. They cut that on MTV, and there was this massive Pearl Jam trying to push, but they're still early on 10, right? So they're just trying to get on MTV, and so unbeknownst, I think, to Pearl Jam, they cut it, and they were like, "We're not putting the gun in his mouth. We're not doing all this shit." And so, everyone thought he shot up the classroom.
Yeah.
And so then Pearl Jam was like, "Fuck that," and that actually went on. Pearl Jam just stopped making videos for a while after that, which is why they just weren't on MTV anymore, because they were like, fuck that, if we can't do what we want.
Yeah, and you guys are going to take our videos, you're going to censor them and switch them around and change the meaning. And MTV has a history of doing this, by the way, which we didn't get to. There is a ton of the Headbangers Ball controversy. There was the OMTV Raps, MTV Alternative Nation. Like, MTV has a gigantic history of censorship, and not only censorship, but changing actual edited videos.
Dude, it's
to something they weren't intended
what you have to do
by the artist.
Again, it's a business.
So it's that balancing art and business. So you can't. It's impossible.
But speaking of Pearl Jam, the first video, Even Flow. If you guys, Chris, you might be able to pull it up, but there's if you freeze it just right, you can see where Eddie Vedder is wearing a "Be Kind, Let's Rewind" T-shirt.
I think so.
In that video,
we'll definitely we'll freeze that and throw it in here. So let's go over, man. So Jeremy, obviously a gigantic one for us.
Insanely impactful video, says a lot in the lyrics, the music, and in the music video.
And again,
itself.
that's what I was saying earlier. Like it's giving you a narrative, like it's giving you a story throughout the video.
Because I mean, that's what the song's about, right? Like it's about this kid, and so they said when they were doing casting too, they were just like, man, they had all these kids in there and shit, and they were like, this one dude was like, apparently he was sick that day, but he had that look to him they were looking for, where he's just like, he looked like that loner, that outcast. Let's go through, because we already mentioned Thriller, Smells Like Teen Spirit, which I still to this day, I'm gonna be honest, I don't think it's that great of a video visually, but it's the movement that it caused is what makes it what it is, right? It's the fact that it launched an entire grunge thing.
Well, let's go back a little bit. Take On Me by
That one, they actually had another version of that. Did you know that?
No.
They filmed them playing it live. They cut this video. It was absolute ass, and then someone had the idea for the cartoon, whatever the fuck, and so many people, especially other artists, because you got to remember it's a competitive environment back then, right? So all these other artists, their videos aren't getting played on MTV, or they're not even in the fucking video. Why is this on MTV?
I mean,
that's why.
As an illustrator, I fucking love that one.
Oh, dude, and it was revolutionary for that time. It was hand drawn. You know, it kind of had the heavy metal vibe to it, not the genre of the cartoon.
All right. So speaking of illustration, Fiona Apple's Criminal.
That's a good one too.
That's a good one. I have a picture that I drew of Fiona Apple.
These are nudes. That's actually really good.
That's actually pretty good.
That's actually really good. What do you mean? That's perfect.
I'm kidding.
Oh shit! Damn,
there it is.
That's really good.
That is. She's been a bad girl.
She
I
has,
can tell
man.
you that much right now, dude.
Let's talk about one of the first ones that I remember vividly. That I was just like, "What the fuck is going on my TV?" Sledgehammer, Peter Gabriel.
Yeah, dude.
And it was I forgot what the it's not stop motion. It's some shit where it's like they take out a frame or something.
Yeah,
where it makes it jerky.
But it goes with the beat so much.
And
they had, what was it? It showed like blood in veins or something.
I can't remember, but I know like at one point when the train's going around his head, you can actually see smoke coming out of the stack, and that's cotton balls they use for that. I found out that where it's just such little shit like that. But it was because the song. I wouldn't. Every time I hear the song, I think of the video, right? So it's like one of those that song is now in my fucking repertoire because of the video. Yeah, because of you think of that every time, and that's what MTV was doing. They're giving visual assistance to the music.
Yeah, and you were letting artists, for the most part, do whatever they wanted to do, and you got really creative projects like a lot of what Peter Gabriel did, and that video was insane. Like
it's still insane.
Like
go look it up. Like go watch it. Like go do
an acid
some drugs,
trip, guys. It's an acid trip.
Do some drugs. Go watch it. It's fine.
You might as well. I mentioned it earlier. Pair that one with 9 Inch Nails' Closer.
Oh yeah, dude, and all the 9 Inch Nails videos were just that claymation shit, dude. Or not claymation. That was I
don't even know what you call it. The stop motion animation. What I thought it was, but it's just like that jerky sort of like filming where it seems like you're missing frames of animation.
There was actually 9 Inch Nails had a video that I actually preferred over Closer for The Perfect Drug.
That was a good one too.
It's
a great song too.
Yeah,
but
I really
speaking
like
of stop animation, fucking Tool, Sober. That video is Jesus fucking Christ.
I forgot about that.
Yeah,
one.
Dude, with that little puppet thing they're using again, and it's a lot of these people. I remember they used it in. There's a movie called The Haunting, I think, that was like a remake, and they had this doctor because it was set in a abandoned like mental facility, and there's this doctor, and they cut out the frames when he moves, like so he's jerky, and it just looks creepy as fuck. Like
oh, they did that in The Ring.
Yes. Yeah. Like so it looks I don't know what it is about it. We already talked about Walk This Way, which I thought, Revolutionary kind of broke some barriers and basically got rap on MTV. But Leaf, you'll be with me on this one. Fucking Sabotage by the Beastie Boys.
Dude, I got that one too, man.
One of my
for the
favorites
fucking mustache.
of all time.
Dude, the fucking Nathan Wynn is Cochise.
My favorite
I'm
part of
that one off.
Yeah.
My favorite part is where like the guy's running and he like tackles him in the car and his head like slams into the hood. I laugh every fucking time.
Every
dude.
fucking time,
Still,
bro.
dude.
Every time.
All right, changing gears. Losing My Religion by REM.
REM, that's a great one too.
That's a sick one.
You know they got sued for that one.
Why?
The Angel stuff was almost shot for shot from like an old silent movie.
Who's watching?
You're kidding me.
Who the fuck is being like, that's my movie?
I don't know. Remember that when we saw the moving pictures.
Probably somebody that dances like this.
I'll tell you the one that may have been. I don't know if it's number one, but it's pretty close. Just because of how fucking cool it looked was California Love with the hype, the Mad Max shit. Dude, not to mention my shout out Matt Stevens project covered that a whole bunch, but California Love with that whole Mad Max thing and theme, and that was when Tupac kind of crossed over. He crossed over to be on Death Row Records, and they were cutting a bunch of cool shit before he was taken from us. But anyway,
R.I.P.
Good shit.
Buddy Holly by Weezer.
Yes, and so that one was one of the first ones where they did the Happy Days crossover, right? Where they did,
So
how was that done?
I did not remember. I didn't remember the Happy Days crossover part of it. I just remember them being like a 50s,
like Buddy Holly style band, right?
And I think that was the first video I ever saw for. I think that's the first video I ever saw from Weezer, and I thought that was their style. I thought they were being ironic.
Yeah. But again, I'm a huge Weezer fan now. But that one was just. I remember that was another one that was like MTV World Premiere.
Yeah.
I should be a
that was
voiceover artist. Do you guys need like? I know there's only 8 of you in the world. Do you need 9?
There used to be a 9th
with
one.
6 of you that don't get any work.
There must there must also.
I can be the 6th one that doesn't get any work.
Yeah, you keep your normal job and you'll be fine, dude. Like, you can call yourself an artist,
dude. Go ahead.
Simply Irresistible.
Dude, so that was the Robert Palmer, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the one that was...
One of my wives found this one recently, and she's younger. She hadn't seen it. Absolutely loves Robert Palmer.
It's just such a simple concept. It's supermodels as his backups. They said in that audiobook, they said there were some outtakes where the girl playing the bass was in high heels. They went off set. They had a wine break, and they went back, and she like was starting to be wobbly in the high heels and fucking knocked Robert Palmer in the back of the head with the bass head because she tripped and tried to get her balance or whatever. She's like, I wish
she was just too dumb to even stand.
Can we get that on a shirt? Be kind. Let's rewind. Too dumb to even stand.
Too dumb to stand.
Leaf's like, wait a minute.
Well, you know what?
Leaf's like, I could walk this whole time.
I can walk this way, man. I'm telling you, man.
I got 2 that I'll back to back here. Mo Money, Mo Problems, which we haven't gotten into. We got into it in one of our music episodes, but the complete ripping off of old songs for rap music. Dude. But I believe it was in this one that Mace promised me that he wouldn't stop. And at some point in time, he did stop.
He did indeed stop,
He did tell me. But the next one I want to talk about, Virtual Insanity by Jamiroquai. Do you guys remember that with the moving floor? So it had this whole fucking floor that moved.
Yep.
Underneath him, you'll have to look it up so you can do the dances and whatever. But it was definitely one of those. It basically was a precursor to that OK Go, the one that went viral on YouTube where they're on the treadmills and shit. But he had like a giant treadmill below him where the set moved, and so he would stand in one place and he would have to dance to move or whatever. It was fucking dope. If you haven't seen it, go watch that one.
It's really good.
I got a couple to pair up. We got Wiki Game by Chris Isaac.
Dude, that was on my list too because that one...
Dude, I hated that song, but I love that video.
That video made me love that song.
Yeah, the song's not bad.
Oh, man.
But pair that with Janet Jackson's Love Will Never Do Without You.
Shadow, can you go ahead and talk to us again about...
What happened about that?
We may have some new listeners that haven't gone back in our archives. So back in the day...
All right. 3:45 in the afternoon, you get home from school, and you're going back and forth between MTV and VH1, trying to find Janet Jackson, either Love Will Not Do Without You or That's the Way Love Goes.
Either one.
Either one will do.
You got your pants around your ankles,
right?
You got your paper towel or your sock, whatever.
You suck if you're a savage.
And the goddamn B-52s come on. It's as big as a well.
And it wasn't. And you're sad.
No. Yeah.
So we touched
and then you follow it up with I Saw the Sign.
Yeah, you're like done.
Like, all right,
done.
I had the Ace of Base cassette.
Good enough.
Yeah. So we talked about it earlier, but the revolutionary Dire Straits, Money for Nothing, that one was another one too that people were mad about in the music industry because they're like, they're not even in the fucking video, and it's like they wrote this song for MTV,
dude, and it was one of the first like computer generated music videos of all time. It was revolutionary.
Was that the block looking?
Yes, dude.
Okay.
The whole video was like computer. It was insane.
It was like Minecraft.
It was.
Yes,
it was
yes,
Minecraft.
It was Minecraft.
Minecraft before Minecraft was Minecraft, and it was so good.
Smashing Pumpkins, Tonight.
Oh, dude, that one was another one that was the MTV World Premiere.
That was the steampunk getting on the ship.
Dude, what
Yeah.
about
What a great
Korn Freak on a Leash?
Yes.
And I don't remember I know we were like starting to get in the I think that was 99. So we're technically, but that one was one that was
that was a TRL special. I remember
Yes.
a lot of people being agitated because that was always on the list, but it was such a good video.
It's still
with
a
the
good video. Go
bullet.
fucking watch it, man.
Dude, go watch Freak on a Leash. That video is so good. It is insanely good.
So we've talked about one of these at nauseum, but Meatloaf spat out of hell too. like he had
it's so good, but we watch it all the time. Like, just full disclosure, if you haven't listened to the show much before, when we get drunk, if me, Leaf, and Shadwick are together, we're drunk at a place, one of our houses, wherever, that video will be played at some point in time.
We're going to commentate through the entire thing.
I would do anything for love.
Yep.
But there was a whole series of those.
Yes.
Remember, like, Objects in the Rearview Mirror?
Mm-hmm.
What was it? What was the other one? It was a whole series where he had on like that weird fucking makeup.
Yeah,
dude, he played this whole character. And
Yeah.
it was like
Beauty and the Beast.
So that's what it was.
Yes,
Yeah,
and it was a story arc, and this is what people forget about music videos. Like, this is brand new. You see a lot of people copy this kind of style and ideal now, and they'll carry their videos like throughout the theme through their album. But like, this is the infancy of that. Like, Meatloaf was cutting edge doing things like this.
I'll mention. Let's mention one more, and then we'll give our favorites. Go ahead, Chadwick.
Well, we've got more than one.
Okay, well, Chadwick, go ahead.
I'm going to throw you guys a curveball.
All right.
Crash Test Dummies.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
That was a good fucking video, man.
That's a good one. That
It's
is
fucking
creepy,
good, dude.
but it's
You
a
have-
good
How
one.
many more do you got? Because I got one I want to end on.
I got Uptown Girl by Billy Joel with Christy Brinkley in it.
No way. I forgot about
That's
that
it. By the way, if
video.
you haven't watched it, I think it's HBO's Billy Joel documentary that's on there. Interviews. I think this is how true to life it is. It interviews all four of his ex-wives, or three of his ex-wives and his current wife. Dude, fucking good doc. Go watch it. 2-parter.
All right, one more, and then I want to ask you guys a question.
All right.
You Could Be Mine from Terminator 2.
Yeah,
Oh,
Guns
yeah.
N' Roses.
Just because the Terminator 2 video, right?
Yeah, but I cannot hear that song without seeing the movie
Absolutely.
or the video.
Same here.
Like seeing that dirt bike run down the road.
Before you ask your question, I want to end with this one that I thought every list I've seen is way down there, but to me was pretty revolutionary. November Rain by Guns N' Roses.
I got that one too.
Like that one to me was like, I was like, holy fucking shit. Like just the structure. I feel like that song was written for a music video.
Yeah,
you know, like
it really was.
It was a song. But what was the question you had?
Which artists had the best videos, like overall? So you got the people I have written down, Aerosmith, because they had a bunch of great videos.
Yeah.
You got obviously Michael Jackson. Maybe you, I don't know. Do you just cut him out of this because he's probably the clear cut winner?
I think so. But anyway, just keep going.
Might be, yeah.
Let's say Michael Jackson out of it.
All right.
Madonna.
Okay.
Paula Abdul. We didn't talk
Good
about
videos with the cartoon mix in.
Really good videos.
Yeah, you got Opposites Attract. You got Rush.
I'm dressed like a cat.
You got Cold Hearted Snake.
Yep.
What was it?
It's
Straight
like
Up.
It's just every fucking snake. What are you talking about, Paula? Cold-blooded creatures.
What are you doing, Paula?
But
Get a grip.
For me, just because of the run in the 90s, like I give it to Aerosmith.
Nice. I agree. Or I see that. I'm going to give it to Madonna.
Yeah.
Leaf?
Ah, man. That's really, really hard. Why can't I vote for Michael Jackson like twice?
Because that's the clear-cut winner.
Yeah.
Like,
The question should be other than Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
it's Michael Jackson. When Michael Jackson is taken out of the list, it's still Michael Jackson,
Respect.
dude.
All right.
Everybody knows the clear-cut winner, dude. I'm going with the champ. I'm sorry. I got nobody else.
All right, well, Let's run through them real quick. Aerosmith. You got is it Sweet Emotion? Sweet Emotion?
That was very early on, though.
But isn't that the one where the kids doing like the 1-900 sexy talk with a chick?
I don't think so. I don't remember any Aerosmith videos till their mid '90s album.
Yeah,
you're talking like Get a Grip.
Yes, that's what I remember.
Well, you got Alicia
Crazy Crying.
Yeah, Alicia Silverstone and Liv Tyler.
Yeah,
like they did all these videos together. Fucking phenomenal and very '90s. I mean, like Alicia Silverstone's wearing flannel shirts and
sold.
Oh God, I miss flannel.
Sold.
But then Madonna, you got Vogue,
which is high on the list of everything.
Open Your Heart.
Yeah, dude.
That's the Peep Show one, right?
Yeah.
And,
dude,
man.
Madonna, all her early stuff, like what Papa Don't Preach.
Yeah,
that was another one too. Like I don't know, Madonna. After reading that or listening to that audiobook, that fucking shit.
If I had to give it to anybody like else besides, if I was forced to, gun against my head, it would probably be Madonna. Runner up would be Duran Duran.
Oh,
if y'all have ever gone back and watched Duran Duran's music videos,
dude, what was the fucking one that was the resurgence?
I was never a big fan of Duran Duran.
Their music videos are so freaking good, man. Like
you remember the one that was like it was late '90s, mid to late '90s. It was their little resurgence or whatever, and it was that real trippy. When you come undone, I think it was the name of that song.
Undone.
God damn, that was a.
There's actually there's a cover of that's much better. Actually,
really. All right,
yeah.
I'll look it up and send it to you guys.
All right, my vote's for Duran Duran, Chris's Madonna, and then yours, Shadoway.
Aerosmith.
All right, guys. So from our MTV viewing pleasure over the years, what is your favorite MTV music video? Leaf, you go first.
My favorite video by far, was one that was only played on MTV late at night for a time before it was completely banned, and that was Prodigy's "Smack My Bitch Up."
Smack my bitch up.
And it is one of the greatest videos ever made for multiple reasons. If you haven't seen it, first and foremost, let me give you a caveat. It is an adult-oriented film.
There's boobies. That's all.
There's
the caveat
boobies. There's nudity. It deals with adult themes, drug use. But the ending of the video is absolutely unbelievably shocking. And if you've never seen it, you need to watch it because it says more in the video than probably the majority of the videos we're going to talk about.
And we're not going to ruin it for you. You need to go watch it.
Go watch it.
And let us know what you thought about it.
By the end, if you haven't seen it, tell me your life is not changed by watching this music video.
Wasn't that song in one of the Charlie's Angels movies?
Yes, it was.
Yes.
All right, yes, Shadwick, of all time, your favorite MTV music video?
I mean, it's such a loaded question because what am I judging it by?
God damn it. Damn it, Suitor number 2.
Just say it, dude.
Janet Jackson, That's the Way Love Goes.
That's the way love goes, it goes, it goes. That's the way love goes.
There it is. Nice. All right, man. And dude, I'm going to bring it home with the obvious answer that is Michael Jackson's Thriller. And with that, guys, we'll take it over to our Norm Macdonald clip of the week.
The much talked about film Showgirls opened this week, and here's my review. Basically a high-budget porno film, Showgirls is a thinly veiled excuse to show lots of naked buttocks, legs, and breasts. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give it a 10.
She's